While divorce bait is a little bit ridiculous to the point where you may find yourself rolling your eyes, at the very least it'll have you chuckling all throughout it. So to summarize divorce bait, Marco and Alexis are both on their second marriage, and the reasons their first marriage ended is because they got cheated on. Marco got cheated on by his ex-wife, Alexis got cheated on by her ex. Now, together, Marco and Alexis have been together for 4 years, but while Marco has seemingly processed most of his baggage in regards to being cheated on, Alexis has not. So when one of their friends in their group get divorced and she sees them moving on a little bit too quickly with another member of the friend group, she questions whether or not any of her friends or people that she knows as part of her community would sleep with Marco as soon as they found out that that him and Alexis were no longer together. And that's pretty much the entire movie of trying to figure out which one of their friends would swoop down like a vulture and pick apart at what's left. So to break down the characters, we have Marco, who's a real estate agent, who is, when it comes to the men, probably the most normal one of his friend group. And I would say when it comes to the personality, this would also extend to his marriage with Alexis, since she is definitely the more energetic and upbeat of the two. Switching over to Alexis, she has for many years been semi-retired from being a hand model, but she's kept up her contacts in the industry, like with her friend Diva, and pretty much her day is just being a mom to a kid who we barely get to see or know, and also being a housewife. The last character we're going to introduce is Diva, who Diva is a flamboyant black man who has vitiligo. So his joke is that since he's a hand model, his black hand is Kanye and his white hand is Kim. And he, since he's manicured, he takes care of his hands well, he is able to get jobs both doing hand modeling commercials for men and also for women. So the first highlight for us is just that the premise hasn't been done to death. The concept of baiting your friends and even your significant other to see who may like your spouse and who they may like isn't something that's common or overdone. I can't even think of the last movie or show that did this. But what I also enjoy about this premise is that as much as this is a comedy, you could easily tap and understand Alexis' insecurities. Her ex cheated on her, so with that in mind, Marco is a man who has a corner office. He doesn't seem to have any kids because it's a little bit confusing at times whether or not the daughter is both Marco's and Alexis's or it's just Alexis's, but I'm pretty sure it's just Alexis's kid. But setting that aside, corner office in a real estate firm, seemingly making a lot of money, may not have any kids, and he's, maybe somewhere in his 30s or even 40s. He's not like, jacked, but he keeps up his good bod, has a full head of hair. So, with that in mind, you can understand why she might be a little uncomfortable with the idea that their friend groups are intermingling after they get divorced. And that helps you understand that this comedy is supposed to be rooted somewhat in real feelings. And that helps drive it a long way, especially as things start to get a little bit crazy down the line. With that said, if you're somebody that enjoys sex jokes in comic situations, like, the aforementioned Diva with the whole vitiligo, Kim, Kanye, black hand, white hand thing, you'll enjoy this movie. On top of that, there's this awkward scenes where there's a BDSM sex party and also watching Alexis accidentally take edibles, which is kind of funny. I mean, is it something where you're going to laugh your ass off, fall out your chair? Absolutely not. But you will chuckle, and as we said in the intro, you'll roll your eyes a little bit, but you will with a smile on your face rather than roll your eyes and grimace. So the last topic is on the fence topic, and pretty much if you've seen a romance movie at all, you know that there's usually some type of misunderstanding or screw up, and because of that, one side usually performs this grand gesture to apologize. Divorce bait is no different, but the problem with this grand the problem with the grand gesture in this movie is that it makes absolutely no sense. It's not romantic at all. It's not really even much of an apology. It's just, I would say, if you look at the film, you can kind of see that as escalating little by little after each single joke. And then once it comes to the grand gesture, that's when it jumps the shark and it just becomes one of those situations where you'll be so thankful that once it does the grand gesture, pretty much that's the end of the movie. Rather than it continuing on and you just questioning why why am I watching this? When it comes to Divorce Bait, I would not say this is a star making kind of comedy. It's more so the kind of comedy where it's a showcase of talent for various different actors who might have been around, might be a familiar face who had, a bit part, but now they're starting to get, the kind of traction they need to really build up their portfolio, find what's their niche, what's their shtick even, and with them being in a film like Divorce Bait, which doesn't have like a premise that's been overexploited, it really allows each person to shine in a way that probably in a different movie they wouldn't be able to. And that's why it's one of those movies where I definitely feel like it may not be for everybody, but if you come in with an open mind, you'll probably enjoy it.